Hey, quickly before we get into the video, I quickly wanted to share some news about the Signal/Premium group we have. Because over the last couple of weeks, going into the summer, but also the rest of the year, we have started drawing up some plans for spot accumulation of coins like Bitcoin, XRP, but also Solana. So for example, how we started was buying Bitcoin. We actually had limits right here from 100,000 into 98,000. Went in big, are making a lot of profit right now. So if you're interested in spot accumulation plans like that, outside of future signals, consider joining. But that's it for now. Just wanted to let you know about that. And now let's get into the video. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. I hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on Ethereum. We're going to do a full update for this weekend and on this Saturday. And with that, I also hope you're having a great start of the weekend. Hope you're having a great Saturday, and want to wish you all great weekends in advance. But in this video, we'll focus on Ethereum, which has basically since last week Tuesday has not done much. Welcome to summer markets, which is obviously a little bit boring and not great. But still, I mean, if you actually are if you are in touch, and if you are aligned with what Ethereum is doing, then you can actually make quite a lot of money if you actually see the move coming, right? And you can see right now, if you take a look at Ethereum, we're basically, and the opening today also suggests that we are rotational within this area right here between 2450 and 2410. That is at least the value area. So you can see we have deviations below and above that, right? So that's normal. And the actual edges of this range are probably more towards 2460 and 2400. But what we're basically waiting for, and in that sense, Ethereum is quite similar to Bitcoin. I mean, Ethereum ETH BTC, right? So the relative performance of Ethereum against Bitcoin has not been great, and you can see that has failed to reclaim a very important support level, which is this green area. And it has actually respected the 4-hour downtrend. So in that sense, and I'll get to that in a moment, of course, as well. But in that sense, I'm actually slightly bearish on Ethereum. But ultimately, it's so that is still the case. So in that sense, Ethereum and Bitcoin are not alike. That's why I wanted to talk about it. But both of them have been quite rotational since Tuesday and Wednesday. Right, so that means that we're waiting for some sort of a breakthrough or some sort of a breakout for Ethereum as well. So either that would look like a move like this, where we drop down into the 7-day rolling VWAP, maybe lower as well, right? Because ultimately you have to ask yourself the question, all right, well, what's going to cause a breakout? And it's quite likely in these times that will be news, right? And if we get bad news for Ethereum, I would be very surprised if we just drop down to the 7-day rolling VWAP and from there bounce. I would say that then the news is most likely going to be bad enough to get a drop into 2300s and maybe a little bit lower than that. So it's either that or it's going to be a bullish breakout above, like I said, 2450, 2460 for a move into the 30-day rolling VWAP and the POC right here at 2530. And I do want to stress that both of these scenarios, and that's basically what I said yesterday as well. I mean, my thoughts on Ethereum haven't changed much, although the circumstances I think have a little, but we'll get to that in a moment. I'll be ready for both of these. I mean, if we get a breakout right here above 2460, like my best friend is volume. If we get that breakout with volume, I will buy Ethereum and potentially also with some fundamentals, right? But at this point of time, given those imbalances we still have left to the downsides, given the relative weakness of Ethereum, and also given the potential of another flare-up, and that has to do with the news, with the fundamentals, a potential new flare-up with these tariffs and trade deals and the trade war. So yesterday we got some headlines between the United States and Canada that things got out of control a little bit. With that, I would say it's more likely that we'll do something like this, right? And we'll drop down. Now, so I would say this is the best scenario to take into account or to be prepared for. A trade idea I do have, which I think is interesting, is if we do something like this, right? So if we drop down to the 7-day rolling VWAP, and if we get a strong reaction there, so that's at 2350, strong reaction there, and a reclaim back above 2390. If we do something like that, I think that's a good long opportunity, because then it's just another deviation below the range, like we've also seen right here on Friday evening, but also right here Friday morning. same day. So that could be an interesting long opportunity if we don't have news, but we do drop down into 2350. But ultimately, like I said, I think it's best to assume here. I think it's best to be ready for both scenarios, but to assume we're going to get a bit of a bearish breakdown. But those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know. For now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.